Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for North Dakota Today. I'm Lisa Vidot here with Chris Berg on this Wednesday.
Not just any Wednesday, though.
April Fool's Day?
And Census Day.
Census Day.
We got all kinds
That's not
of
a joke.
good
It really is
on.
Census Day.
It's Census Day.
And just in case you forgot, it has been pushed back, but we're dedicating the whole show today, the deadline for getting it done. But it's kind of like, I know there are a lot of things going on, but don't put it off. Just get it done.
Right?
Now's the time. We have the time on our hands.
You're sitting in front of a computer most of the day anyway, so just jump on there. I think it's 2020census.gov. Apparently, it only takes like 4 minutes.
I know. Well, they were saying 5, and now it's become a competition. And most people are saying, I did it in 4. Our producer, Cordell, was it 4? Was it 3.5? Oh, he's saying 3. Whenever he says that.
Did you get it right, though?
Well, I had 4. I feel like it took me 5, but I do have 4 people in my household.
There you go. That's fair.
You know, I don't know. Every time he says that, though, 3 minutes, I'm like, I can name that tune in. Do you remember that, like, way back? Anyway, that's what it reminds me of. So, yeah, we are going to be discussing some of the cool ways that different committees all across the country as well have, because they're not going door to door, or they would prefer not to with social distancing. So some different fun games. We have some trivia coming up here as well. Quick and easy. Today, though, I wanted to add is Census Day, a day to promote participation in the 2020 census. And we touched on this. The census count is being disrupted, of course, by the COVID-19 crisis. We wanted to get an update today from Nichelle Medina with a look at the efforts underway.
It's an important civic duty right on par with voting.
Like many, Jim Dobbins wants to make sure everyone in his household is counted in the census.
Then it just asks you who all lives in the house and basically their age, their relationship to you, and birthday. So it's a very simple process.
More than 36% of the nation's households have responded so far, but the coronavirus is interrupting the process.
We have delayed and even suspended some of our operations temporarily.
Door-to-door census deliveries are now on hold to millions of homes in some rural areas. The need for an accurate count ensures communities get political representation and federal dollars for roads, schools, emergency services, and money that can aid in times of a crisis.
Those funds, those resources that are provided to communities across the country, they deal with things like emergency preparedness.
The official deadline to respond to the census is now August 14th, but for Dobbins, that's no reason to wait.
It's no better time to do it. I mean, we're all essentially self-quarantined at home.
An unprecedented time presenting challenges for the Census Bureau that insists it will meet the deadline mandated by the Constitution to ensure everyone is counted. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, San Diego.
Of course, as we've been talking about, lots going on in the world right now. We're going to talk about the census, but of course we're not ignoring the coronavirus pandemic. We did want to mention, and we talked about this on the Valley today, Fargo is going to be holding their update from Fargo City Hall, but it's not just Fargo, Moorhead, Cass and Clay counties. They have the public health officials, and of course, I think it's great too that they're bringing in, you know, Essentia Health, Sanford Health. So that's going to be at 11 o'clock, and we're going to be streaming it live, or actually carrying it live, I should say that. It'll be streamed live on a couple of our different platforms as well as the county, but it will be on KVLY and KX4 at 11 o'clock this morning if you would like to, you know, listen along, which I've really been kind of glued to my TV, especially when it's, you know, whether it's Governor Burgum's, you know, updates in the afternoon, Governor Walz from Minnesota, and then, of course, today kind of locally. So 11 a.m. Tune in, and of course we always have a recap on our newscast.
And all I can say, folks, is buckle up. Some of the numbers coming out of the White House yesterday, I spoke with Governor Burgum last night, and they're talking about, according to the models they're using, that North Dakota doesn't necessarily start to get out of the curve until May 2nd. And I don't even want to talk about some of the other numbers out there, because it's just, we're going to pray that they don't happen, but all I'm saying is be prepared to maybe be homebound a little bit longer than we anticipated.
Right. Well, I think the governor said that right away, too. You know, we're hearing about, you know, the hot spots in different areas, and we were kind of a little bit later starting.
Yeah.
And I don't know what exactly is considered a surge, you know, in numbers, but the numbers are definitely going up. So once again, another great reason to have your Valley News Live news app. We get you the very latest information, the latest numbers, and great advice for taking care of yourself and your family as well.
Also, the first day is today is the long distance learning for the school. So I want to get kind of a breakdown of what you did for your synopsis of the day and what you have.
I was listening to Mrs. Mo, her first on our phone seesaw today, but we have not. I told my girls everything is sent out about 9 o'clock. It was like just before the show, and I was like, actually, my other friends, Rachel, who's I think like an amazing, can do it all, stay at home mom, and she's even a little nervous. I'm like, you can't be nervous because that makes me nervous. You're the mom that can do it all. So yeah, it's going to be. I'll let you know tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow
I might be like.
Rundown.
We talked about it at supper, family supper last night. I'm like, okay, here's the deal. This is, you guys can look at it, but when I get home, we're gonna, dedicate this many hours to, our schoolwork, and then I'm gonna push back my nap time.
Did you show them all in their daily planner too? How you wrote it all out?
You have big dreams, like we're gonna do this, and then also we're gonna do our exercise like it's gym class,
Good
and we're gonna,
you.
So we're kind of big plans, big dreamers.
Yeah.
It's new for everyone, though. I think for the teachers too, they'll give us at-home teachers a little break, because this mama is very nervous about how about Aji? Is she like
she's digging it? Like, I think Aji should have just been a teacher. And
I can see
Isabella,
that.
I mean, we're very blessed because Isabella is a voracious reader. I mean, she loves to learn. So it's been kind of fun to watch her and stretch her a little bit, like put her in different arenas that maybe she's not used to being in. And so I'm hoping, I haven't actually ran this by you or Cordell yet, but she's such a voracious reader, and everyone we have on, all the experts are like, hey, reading. I said, Isabella, you should do like a book report, like do book reports where you see like book reviews, I should say, as a young person. So if you guys are open to it, maybe we'll have her on via Skype and she can talk about, hey, I read this book and here's why you should read it. And,
I love it.
It'd be kind of fun.
I was thinking, I've been working with Bailey. We have a list of books I'm going to start reading on Facebook as well, in case people just need a little extra time to, encourage their kids at least even to listen, because we've heard that whether they're reading themselves or my Bailey prefers to have me read to her, I think. And even Marley, who's a 6th grader, sometimes if I'm reading to Bailey, she'll curl up and just sit and listen too. So you're seeing a lot more of that. I think Dolly Parton is also going to be starting to read online with her Imagination library. And I think we might have someone possibly on next week who's been doing it for a while, a local hairstylist who's super kid friendly. So I would love to have, and you run out of book ideas. We can't go to the library. You can buy them online, but I was going to say, we have a bookshelf full of books. So
it's so funny to say, because that's what I was saying to Isabella. Like, I think people would dig having, she's 10, but having a 10-year-old talk about, this is why this book was awesome. Here's what I liked about it. Here's what I didn't like about it. And I think it would resonate in her age range, right?
I want kids to tell me what toys they like. I want kids to tell me what books other kids would like too. So I for sure agree. We'll work on that. And because Aji already, I missed it kind of at the end, but we Skyped with Aji and she brought Isabella in at the very end. And she's ready. She's ready. She may become a viral book review star.
We'll see.
Who needs TikTok?
I look at how many books she's reading and I'm like, my goodness, like it just is.
She puts you to shame.
Oh, it's embarrassing. Like I might get through a little tiny pamphlet and she's like, oh yeah, Dad, I already did it. I'm like, and what's amazing is you think, okay, she's flipping the pages, but she's digesting it all, and she'll tell me like, oh, this book's about this, and I'm like, wow.
I love it. Okay, book her for our show. See what I did there?
Good pun. I'm impressed right there.
No. Thank you. All right, back to the census. How about we're talking about books? How about I pick your brain here a little bit? I won't make you wait too long for the answer here. We have some trivia for Census Day here. Did you know when the first census was conducted? I was surprised by this.
This was stunning to me.
1790. That's when the first census was conducted. It feels like it wouldn't be that long, but it makes sense. We've always needed to know how many people were, and probably even more back then when we were all spread out all over the place.
Yeah, but it's just to think back to 1790 and we're still doing it today. And what's amazing to me is, as you talk to these people and you're going to hear today, this is really the first census we've been able to really utilize technology. So I can't imagine what they were doing. Hey, are you here? I'm here. Okay, good. We got you.
No kidding. What was the population at the time of the first census? This is a pretty big number, too. 3.9 million, way back then. How about when was the census? When the census was taken in the year 2000, there were just over 281 million people living in the United States. This is just some info for you. And in 2010, there was almost a 10% increase to almost 309 million. These numbers are kind of hard to digest a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's pretty stunning. And I think what's interesting, you said back in 1790 we had 3.9 million, in the United States, but what was it, 13 states, and obviously you didn't think it was going to be that many, and now we only have 700,000 in all of North Dakota. So it's an interesting contrast that we've still sort of kept our roots, pun intended, if you will.
Oh, and I found this interesting. Our producer did a lot of research on the census. He's become an expert here. When you're talking about the electric tabulation, when do you think the first electric tabulation system was actually used? He said back in, I like credit, like he said, 1890. I was like, how is that even for real? He said before the invention of the system, it took almost the full decade just to count all of the census results. So can you imagine? That makes sense. I don't know.
Unbelievable.
So we're having fun. If you have any interesting census, stories, trivia, questions, answers, let us know. You can go to our North Dakota Today Facebook page. And I know we're going to talk to some people throughout the show today. It's all census, about how they've been a little creative to get people involved, whether it's billboards and games and all that good stuff. So stay with us. We'll be right back here on North Dakota Today.